of the handout, but I'll put it in the shout out later, so you can, if you didn't get a handout, you can get it. So I'm going to bring up the tools now, and yes.
May I help you?
Anybody can.
Okay.
No, that's for shout out. Yes, please. I'll start with the small ones. So my favorite hand clippers are these Okatsuni ones. Look how nice and small they are. I have small hands, so these fit my hand, and they're sharp. I like the red and white handles because you can see them both in the daytime and at night. You see, you don't have to paint them separately. I'll pass these things around.
Do you have prices on any?
Prices vary, and it's been a while since I bought them. I get my tools off eBay. I don't buy from Amazon. So I get them from eBay or different places. I put some of the places I get my tools here. And so because I bought them a while ago, I don't know what the current prices are. This is a tool that you will not see very often. This is a keyhole saw, and this is really, really wonderful for tight spots. And when you're cutting off little stubs off your Japanese maples, when you have to get in where you have a bush or tree where the branches are opposite, and you've got to cut out that middle section, this is really good, and it's incredibly sharp. I can use this for 2-inch diameter branches. It's really amazing. And this is, the only place I found this available is Hardwick's. Bought my first one when Hardwick's was still in Seattle, but they're now moved, but they're still online. So you can get these at Hardwick's. I highly recommend them. Okay. Loppers are an indispensable tool for pruning. Some loppers are just too darn big. They get in the way. But these shorter ones are the ones that I found are the best for me in doing lots of pruning. And wooden handles are nice. They're lighter. Some loppers are just too heavy. But this one's light because of the wooden handles. It feels good. It keeps its sharpness pretty well, and it's not expensive. You can get this at Ace. I have several floating around. The folding saw is useful. Sometimes you just need a different saw. And the more saws you have for when you're doing your pruning, it just makes it so much more efficient. And you can just grab the right tool for the pruning job that you have at the moment. The one my folding saw I've chosen is a Steel brand. That's a famous brand in chainsaws, and it's very good. And these have you don't sharpen these blades, you replace them. And so you can buy replacement blades on these when they go dull, but it takes a long time for them to go dull. These are available at Ace Service Center. This is a hedge pruner. This is the very best hedge pruner you can buy. And I was told about this particular hedge pruner by a garden expert that I've been following over the years, and he had a video on it, and it's an Okatsuni. It's the same brand as that little clipper, and it holds its sharpness for a very long time. It's light, and it will cut through good size branches if you're pruning, but I don't do much hedge pruning. When I do, I use this, but you know what I use this for? A lot? I use this for deadheading. for deadheading grasses, for deadheading plants at the end of the season. Man, this is fast. This is so fast to use this for deadheading a bunch of flowers. So that's mostly what I use this for. But it's nice and light, and you can take a look at it.
Diane,
Yes, question.
is that made by like a Japanese?
It's from Japan. Yes, and the Okitsune hedge pruner, they come in different sizes, and that's why I put down on the handout the specific size that I have. Yes.
Do you sharpen your own stuff, and if so, how?
Oh, good question. The question was, do I sharpen my own tools, and if so, how? I used to. I used to try to sharpen my own tools. I failed miserably. So, when my tools get dull, I bring them to Ace Service Center. And they only charge like $5 a blade. Very good prices. Bring them clean though, because they will charge you to clean your tools. And the prices have gone up. But Ace Service Center is where I bring all my tools to get sharpened. They turn them around really quickly. They do a great job.
They do a great job, but maybe we could do a workshop on how to kind of just tune your tools in the interim. Maybe we could all bring our tools and just kind of sharpen them away with the wet stuff.
Oh, I couldn't. I couldn't even teach you. I'm not good enough to show people even how to teach how to sharpen their own. But if someone here is good at it, that might be a good thing. Well, maybe you could organize a workshop. I do use camellia oil. After I use my tools, I clean them, and then I put camellia oil on them. And yeah, camellia oil. I get it online. That's what I found was highly recommended in one of my pruning books, and so I use it. It lasts forever. Okay. That's what I use, is camellia oil. And you can get it online. And I have it, so I use it. I wouldn't be able to advise you on other oils. Okay, so this is wonderful if you need to tip your fruit trees so that they get bushier. So sometimes you don't want your fruit trees to send out these long shoots, but you don't want to take them off completely. You want to just shorten them a bit so that they get bushy and they bush out, or you want to encourage them to form fruiting spurs, or you just want them to, keep the size of the tree or shrub within bounds. And, those wonky branches that are heading off and they're brand new, and and you can't use a pole saw on them because they're too whippy. They're too small. And you don't want to have to climb up on a ladder to try to get it with a hand clipper. This is your wonderful reach for that. This is also available at Ace Service Center. And these keep their sharpness a very long time. I don't think I've ever had to have this sharpened yet.
What is it called?
It's called an extension pruner. An extension pruner. And this is another steel brand. It's a really good brand for cutting tools. These cost about $75.
I think we won't pass this around.
No,
I'll
I don't
show
pass it
people.
around. My most used tool is this one. This is an extension pruner. Yeah, careful with that. That thing is really sharp.
I wanted to get it up here.
It's got a great name. It's the Silky Zubat. I love the name. I tell my clients, this saw is so sharp, you can cut yourself just looking at it. And so Silky is a really wonderful brand name in Japan, and this comes from Japan, and it's very light. I really dislike the pruners that have a lopper and a rope. Oh my gosh, gets hung up. I mean, my goodness, how can you possibly prune an apple tree with all of its wonky branches and right angles and so forth when you've got all that stuff in there? This gets in there in tight corners, and I'll show you something. So the blade is really thin and it's very flexible. And sometimes you end up needing that when you're cutting. And because it's thin, it gets through things fast. And it's easier to use and very, very quick. So this has a replaceable blade. You don't sharpen this blade, you get a new one when you need one. But they last a very long time. And I'll show you how long this one extends to. What's the question?
Can you buy that at Ace?
No, you can't buy these. In fact, I'm very, very sorry to have to tell you this, but right now you can't even buy them anywhere in the world because what's been happening is because it's aluminum, this warning here on the side says, danger, these pole saws conduct electricity. Do not use within 50 feet of electrical wires. That is a very long way away. And I'm sure in America, there have been way too many people who've gotten electrocuted using this brand of saw because they don't pay attention to that. And you're pointing to somebody.
50 feet, come on!
I know, but for some reason or other, they're no longer, you can't buy these anymore. You can't buy them and have them shipped to the US. Every once in a while, when you go online, you'll find someone who will ship them. But right now, when I looked, no one will ship them to the US. So the alternative to this, I'm going to put this back on, and it'll be safe to have this around this way. People can see how light it is. That would be nice. So that was a 6 to 9 foot pole saw Silky Zubat. The alternative to that you can buy is an ARS brand. And that's an ARS pole saw 6 to 9 feet. And that has a fiberglass pole. So that is safer. So that's the alternative to that one. Now this is my last tool. I wanted to, when I was diagnosed with osteoporosis in my spine, I said, I gotta get off the ladders a bit more and work from the ground a bit more. And the other reason I wanted a second saw was because sometimes, despite your best efforts, your saw can get hung up in a branch while you're cutting it, and you can't get the darn thing out. So I have a second saw so I can cut its way out, so free up my saw. Sometimes it happens. So take a look at this one. This one is a bit of a pain in the ass to bring into the house and clean it, and also to put in the car, but it's still worth it. Question?
Yes, the ARS brand with the fiberglass handle that you can find
that high?
Yes.
Does it have a flexible blade too?
It won't be, I don't think it's gonna be quite as flexible as this, but that would be your best bet for a pole saw. I would still keep looking for the silky Zubats though.
It does go 30.
No, the one that I mentioned there on the handout is the equivalent of my smaller one. ARS does not have one that's quite like this. Theirs is 15 feet, so it's not an exact duplicate. But ARS would be the brand to look for an extension pole saw.
Can you buy the Silky Zubat blade and put it on another pole?
You can buy the silky Zubat blade separately, but you can't put them on another pole. It won't fit. It has to fit. It's set up to fit exactly here. Yeah. The silky Zubat comes in a hand saw, but what I like is the pole saw. And you can see how light, even this one that goes up to the sky, is amazingly light. Amazingly light, which is really important for those of us who don't have a lot of strength to be able to get up there and use these saw and do our own pruning. So there you go. Those are my favorite. After trying many different things, these are my favorites that I've come to at the point. Yes?
How much is your favorite saw?
That favorite saw was about, I think it was 150. I've had it quite a few years, so I don't know anymore. But you know, I do this for a living, so the price really doesn't matter so much for me. It's efficiency and safety and getting the job done quickly, yeah, and well. Yes.
If you absolutely had to use a ladder, what would your ladder be?
Oh, I'll talk about ladders and I'll bring my ladder in. I do have a ladder and that's going to be another talk. And I'm still climbing ladders.
Any more questions, please see Diane after